Hi, this is Mike, WB4HUC, and this is going to be a real short video. I'm going to try to keep it to 5 minutes, describing the on-screen manual in the K4. So the manual for the K4 is built into the K4. So how do we access it? If you see this question mark here in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, just touch that, and then that brings up the manual. And I'm going to do this. When you first bring it up, it probably looks like this. And if you want it full screen, you can touch this here and you get full screen. And then from here, you can use the VFO knob to scroll up and down. You can use your mouse wheel if you're using a mouse. And I have both a wireless mouse and wireless keyboard connected to the radio. So right now I'm just scrolling the mouse wheel. You can click on something that you want to see that's underlined. And so the instructions for using the built-in manual are in the manual. And then we can go back. Or you can search for things. So what do we want to search for? Just for fun, let's search for AGC. And I just typed it in with the keyboard. But you can touch each of these buttons or hover your mouse over it and click your left mouse button, whatever you want to do. And then once you've entered your search term, press enter. So it just found the first occurrence of these letters in the manual, but this isn't really what we're looking for, is it? So click your right arrow key to keep moving forward, and then here's the function. Selects AGC slow, fast. You can turn the AGC off. And then you can also, again, we've got a link here, a hyperlink. These that are underscored, and you can go to those or go back. So and it carried us back to the first one, it looks like. So here we go. Now we're back where we were. So there you go. You can just enter in search terms. So what else do we want to search for? You don't have to go back to the beginning of the manual to do a search. You can, from wherever you are in the manual, you can enter another search term. So I don't have the subreceiver in my K4, but if I did, and if I was interested in diversity mode, so again, it took us to the first occurrence of that phrase. If we click it again, it'll take us to here, and this is a hyperlink. You can see it's underlined, but you can also just click on it here and carry you right to it. So you can search terms, you can just read the manual if you get bored and want something to do, you can just read it, take notes, whatever. But it's very handy to have it in the radio. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is this last control here, and that is really handy. So if we exit the manual and then we call something up, so let's go to display and let's turn this, let's turn peak on. Now we can see what we did, but let's pretend that we want to go read about it in the manual in case there's something about it that's not obvious here. So we just clicked peak on. The peak button was our last control. Go back to the manual, hit last control, and we go to peak. And it explains what that is. Hardware button. Let's turn this off. Hardware buttons. If I go to and press the notch, you can see that the automatic notch is on. Let's turn it off. And now let's say, well, let's go read about the notch filter in case there's something that it can explain to us maybe we didn't know or that we're not aware of here. So again, click here, last control, auto notch, because that's the last. Whether we turned it on, whether we turned it off, doesn't matter. That's the last control we touched. So there you go. It'll explain about the notch. And it will also work for items in the menu. So if we bring up the menu and AGC hold time, and so this one's highlighted. We didn't touch it per se, but it is highlighted. So we can bring back the manual, last control, AGC hold time. You can go to here's an interesting one. Go to the manual, last control. Also see RIT knob alternate function. So if we go forward, we'll eventually get to it, or we can just click the hyperlink and tells us what the alternate function is for the RIT knob, and RIT is turned off. So the last control works for the LCD display when you have the radio controls displayed. It works for the LCD display when you have the menu displayed, and it works for the hardware buttons. So there you go. Pretty short. I went over my 5-minute time limit, but there you go. Just a real brief explanation of the on-screen manual, which for me has turned out to be very handy. So I hope it is for you too. So I guess that's about it. As always, thank you for watching.